In October 2015, the U.S.-flagged cargo ship SS El Faro departed Jacksonville, Florida, bound for Puerto Rico with 33 crew members on board. Directly in the ship's intended path, Tropical Storm Joaquin was rapidly intensifying into a Category 4 hurricane. Commercial ships operate under a safety management system, a framework of protocols meant to assess risk and guide emergency operations. But Tote Maritime's system failed to assess the specific threat of Joaquin, and management ashore provided the captain with no active weather routing or support. This vacuum in corporate oversight severed the crew's primary shoreside safety net. They were isolated and effectively on their own before the first wave ever struck the hull. On board, the captain was relying on weather routing software that had to be downloaded to his computer via email. By the time he reviewed the data, it was already hours out of date. Meanwhile, the junior officers standing watch on the bridge were actively tracking the storm using satellite text and radio broadcasts, receiving real-time data that showed a much more severe and immediate threat. Because these information systems were entirely disjointed, the ship's commander was making critical life-or-death navigation decisions based on a storm position that no longer existed. During the night, the junior officers called the captain's cabin on 3 separate occasions to suggest immediate course alterations. The maritime industry uses a protocol called bridge resource management, designed to prevent accidents by encouraging open communication and active team collaboration. For this protocol to work, junior officers have to aggressively assert their safety concerns to their superiors, regardless of rank. But looking at his outdated weather data, the captain dismissed the mate's warnings. He declined to change course and failed to even return to the bridge to investigate their screens. The rigid maritime hierarchy overrode clear and present danger. It silenced the ship's human safety net, allowing a single point of failure to steer the vessel deeper into the storm. As the hurricane hit, an undetected watertight scuttle, a small access hatch on the second deck, was left open. Seawater poured directly into cargo hold 3. This diagram shows water breaching the hull. Up on the bridge, the crew was blind to it. El Faro lacked remote indicator lights for these deck hatches. As the water level in the cargo hold rises, the bridge indicators remain dark. There were no high-level bilge alarms required to warn the crew the space was filling. To make matters worse, specific cargo ventilation closures had also been left open, allowing the accumulating water to spill over and begin catastrophic downflooding into other interior spaces. Antiquated sensor regulations forced a modern crew to fight an invisible, asymmetrical flooding event that was already beyond their control. Hurricane-force beam winds, combined with thousands of gallons of trapped water shifting to one side, pushed the ship into a severe list or extreme tilt. This technical rendering shows the main engine's oil sump at that exact angle. The severe tilt pushed the lubricating oil away from the suction bell mouth. Looking closely at the exposed tip of the yellow pipe, it sits entirely in the air pocket above the green oil. The pump sucked in air, the oil pressure plummeted, and the main engine automatically shut itself down. The ship's own automated self-preservation mechanism paralyzed the vessel, leaving it completely dead in the water against a Category 4 hurricane. The captain critically delayed his order to muster the crew, waiting until the ship had already lost propulsion and was irreversibly doomed. When the order finally came, they met the fatal flaw of their primary survival gear. As you can see in this photo, the ship carried older, open-style lifeboats. At the ship's extreme angle and battered by massive waves, these craft were functionally impossible to board or launch. The combination of a delayed evacuation order and profoundly outdated survival craft stripped all 33 crew members of a viable escape route. The National Transportation Safety Board's investigation of the wreckage, seen in this artist's rendering, produced urgent industry-wide mandates. Regulators demanded physical hardware upgrades to prevent a repeat disaster. This included the mandatory retrofitting of high-level bilge alarms and the requirement for modern enclosed lifeboats, like this one, which are capable of extreme angle launches. Procedurally, the NTSB mandated class-approved damage control plans for all vessels, alongside rigorous external auditing to ensure corporate safety management systems actually function in practice. Surviving extreme maritime environments requires an unbroken chain of open human communication, modern technical defenses, and proactive corporate oversight. The loss of the El Faro proved that the failure of any single link invites disaster.